The quantum engines of the astral dominion hummed a low, vibrating death song that rattled through the deck plating and settled deep in Kai Brennan's marrow. For 3 years, this mechanical dirge had been the soundtrack to his servitude, a constant, grinding reminder of his status as a broken human engineer scuttling through the wreckage of his former life. Yet, in the shadows of this floating metal prison, Kai was doing more than just surviving. He was cataloging. Every glitch, every arrogance-fueled oversight of his Kitharan captors was a weapon waiting to be drawn. In tales like this, one can't help but see echoes of our own world's chaos, where the powerful often overlook the very hands that keep their empires running. Supervisor Vexar, a 7-foot construct of blue skin and sneering authority, cut through the engineering bay's ambient noise with a voice like a rusty blade. He demanded status reports with the impatience of a deity addressing insects. Kai played his part, reporting a harmonic resonance in the starboard coupling, only to be dismissed. To the Kitharans, human preventive maintenance was merely a lack of faith in their superior technology. But faith, as Kai knew, doesn't fix fusion conduits. When the comms officer Rillan announced Priority Alpha, summoning supervisors to the War Council, the panic was palpable. Queen Xerath demanded answers regarding her damaged armor, and suddenly, the superior overlords looked very much like frightened children. As Vexar departed for what looked like his own execution, the tension in the engineering bay evaporated like morning mist. Jenkins, a fellow captive with an oil-stained beard, immediately laid odds on the supervisor's survival. They spoke in hushed tones about the Queen's near miss in battle. 30 seconds where her shields failed completely. Kai remained silent, polishing a tool. He knew exactly why the shields had dropped. He had repaired them 2 days prior, maliciously complying with their flawed instructions to mix volatile Kitharan quantum tech with incompatible human systems. He had warned them of the cascade failure. They had ignored him. So he let physics teach them a lesson. In the war hall, Queen Xerath was not interested in lessons, only retribution. She threw her scorched armor onto the floor, a blackened accusation. Her engineers, Morthan, Zekran, Plek, stammered excuses that ranged from cosmic frequency misalignment to inferior human materials. When Morthan dared to suggest the failure was merely a temporary inconvenience, the Queen's rage burned with a cold, violet fire. She had been seconds away from becoming superheated plasma, and they offered semantics. It was Engineer Dexlon who finally, desperately, suggested the unthinkable. Consulting the human maintenance staff to understand their crude methodologies. Guard Captain Corvesh arrived to collect Kai. The walk to the royal chamber felt like a funeral procession, yet Kai couldn't resist joking about overdue library books and performance reviews. Corvesh's ears twitched in rare amusement. Perhaps he admired a man who could laugh at the guillotine. Inside the hall, the atmosphere was pressurized. Xerath circled Kai, her violet eyes dissecting him. When asked about the failure, Kai didn't flinch. He exposed the flaw, their refusal to integrate human safety protocols with their raw power. "I knew it would fail," he confessed. The silence was deafening. "Why?" she asked. "Because 30 seconds of vulnerability beats 3 years of chains." He expected a plasma bolt. Instead, he got laughter, a terrifying, crystalline sound. Emboldened, Kai played his real card. "You're fighting the wrong enemy." He revealed the secret data he'd been harvesting, the Xerion Collective. While the Kitharans and Coalition exhausted themselves, the Xerion were strip mining the Outer Rim, building a fleet to conquer the survivors. "We need to stop fighting each other," Kai urged. Combine your power with our reliability. The timing was cinematic. Alarms screamed as coalition battleships, led by Admiral Chen, dropped out of hyperspace. It was an invasion. Xyrath offered Kai a choice. Prove your theory. Fix my armor now, properly, or die. In 10 frantic minutes, Kai performed a miracle of engineering. He wove human redundancy into the Kithaeron quantum matrix, a fusion of opposing philosophies. The armor hummed to life, stable and surging with newfound power. Xyrath stepped into it, feeling the harmony of cooperation. Convinced, she opened a channel to the approaching fleet. Admiral Chen, she announced, I propose a ceasefire. We face a greater threat. 3 hours later, the Astral Dominion and the Coalition fleet drifted in a unified formation. The diplomatic silence of space was broken by the start of a new alliance. As Kai stood with Jenkins, looking out at the stars, the irony wasn't lost on him. He had sabotaged a suit of armor to build a bridge between worlds. The war wasn't over, but at least now they were finally fighting the right enemy.